Hey everybody, welcome to Aquaria. D-Mark here with Hardcore Casual Gamer. So welcome to my brand new Let's Play here. This is a game that's very near and dear to my heart. Aquaria here came out in 2007, originally released by the team BitBlot, team of two people comprised of Alec Holowka. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that, Alec. Alec was responsible for both the music and the programming in this game. The music is amazing in this game. I have to give complete and utter props to Alec. It's just a pure joy to listen to when you play this. The other member of the team was Derek Yu, whom many of you may be familiar with for his work on Spelunky. That's Derek's newest iteration. Alec right now has just successfully funded a 400% funding of his newest Kickstarter for A Night in the Woods, kind of an interesting adventure game by the looks of it. Take a look at the description for links to both of those. Anyway, this game is very much a Metroid-Vania game mixed with that of Ecco the Dolphin. So it's got some puzzle, it's got some adventure, and everything is this gorgeously hand-drawn art. Again, it's just beautiful the entire time you play it. So, again, it came out in 2007, originally released for PC. They won the Seamus McNally Grand Prize at IGF in 2007 because it is just that good. Let's go ahead and just kind of take a look at things. I got a little Photoshop happy just to kind of plug myself and my guys here. But here's our options. So we got sound effects, music, voice, resolution, subtitles, full screen, flip input buttons, tooltips, auto-aim. Auto-aim is very helpful, especially if you're not using a mouse. You can use purely keyboard and or controller. So you can check out your key config and go through and remap these as you see fit. But I like it as it is. So down here is actually a button for mods. So this game comes with a fully built-in level editor and lots of different things to take a look at that. I'm not going to go into this, but if you're a modder, there are lots of ways. So again, originally released in PC, has since come out to Mac, Linux, thanks to the Humble Bundle, as well as iOS, iPad, iPhone, etc. And recently, this last summer, was released on Android, once again, via Humble Bundle. Aquaria is a longtime veteran of the Humble Bundle series. So yeah, let's go ahead and get to it. I'm just gonna start up a new game here, so let's go for it. Or quit the game. No. New game!
The verse flows throughout Aquaria, through each ripple and wave, through every living being. The verse binds us all as one. The verse binds us, narrator and explorer. My story will become your own, and yours will become mine. You will live my life through my eyes, and you will learn the truth. As far back as I can remember, I came to this place to think. This cave was my sanctuary. Here the verse was so focused that I could feel it humming in the stones around me. If I called out in song, the cave and its creatures would dance to my tune. If I had stayed there, I might have found peace. But eventually, loneliness and restlessness drove me away.
Alright, so we start the game. So this game can be controlled entirely with the mouse, which is very nice. You see, you hold the left mouse button, and you just kind of drag things around. the closer you get to your character here, the slower she moves until she stops within this certain radius here. And then you kind of have your walking swim, and then your stride swim here. I also have to give compliments to Jenna Sharpe. Jenna Sharpe is a lovely and talented actress and voice actress who is the one responsible for the voice of Naja. So there are little moments around here in the game where your mouse kind of lights up. You can right-click to interact with those. I also like the fact that during certain times, like there, you kind of zoom in, you get some more detail of the, again, great art by Derek. So you can see our map down to the right in certain areas gets dark to where you can't see it. I found a new map token. Double-click the mini-map in the corner of the screen to view the world map. Okay. Double-click. So here is our map. So I have to say, this game is enormous. Again, I mentioned it was made by 2 people. 2. And it is huge. There's so much to this game. Anyway, just quick mechanics. So you've got your map down here. This green bar is your life. This button here brings you to the options. These 2 little things are map markers. So let's give it a name. And you see we got a map marker here. We can label that one test. Test 2. So different map markers for different things. You can just right-click on them to get rid of them. But this being, again, a Metroid-Vania style game, you will find yourself coming to places where you cannot get to with your current abilities, and you'll need to go back to explore and collect them up, so to speak. So yeah, having these map markers, especially on such a huge place, and we'll get to that, is very, very helpful. Again, mouse wheel zooms. You can kind of click on new areas. You see the top up here kind of gives you some information about it. Hover tells you kind of where you're hovering over. Clicking on it actually shows that. And you see this area here in white is what I've explored. The gray area is what I have not. And little map indication markers will appear on the map as we go forward. So you can also control with the WASD keys here. Pretty straightforward. Sometimes I kind of jump between those. Jump between them depending on what part of the game I'm in. So we got one of our first little things here. Okay, so hold right-click on Naja to sing. So we hold right-click, and we've got this menu here of all these different kind of colorful symbols. So you can go through and sing various songs depending on what you do here. You can kind of see Naja's mouth open up and sing as you go. And one thing I want to point out is just the attention to detail that the guys put into this. So we've got these little jellyfish swimming around, and you sing, and they morph. Same with those little fish that are around. They morph to the colors of the songs that you sing. I also really like that the songs kind of happen to match the ambient music all around. It's cool. So we've got another one of those little right-click areas again. She just kind of sits down, chills out. We've got this little thing down here. These are kind of, I'll just call them Flowerpots. You right-click and you sing the same color that they are, and they'll give you stuff. So I just got a little oil drop. Let's head to our menu here. We'll get more into the other pieces of this, but let's click on this portion. So this is our cooking menu. That's right, you get to cook in this game. So throughout the course of the game, you'll get stuff like fish oil here, you'll get fish, you'll get plants, you'll get mushrooms, you'll get all sorts of different combinations of things, and you will combine them to make food, which heals you, gives you buffs, faster speed, faster power, yada yada yada. Lots of different stuff, and there's a recipe list, which is 13 pages long, there's, I don't know, 4 or 5 different recipes on every single one of these pages. It's incredible. So we'll get more into the cooking here in a bit. Yeah, I want to go up here. Again, more just little things that respond to your singing. Alright, let's sing yellow. Alright, so we got another ingredient. That time it was... what was it? Oops, wrong one. Here we go. A small egg. Okay, so again, depending on what combinations you put together, you make different stuff. And one thing you'll see that I've been doing here is that, again, clicking and holding makes you swim. If you're far away from Naja and you click there, she'll dash. Similarly, if you hit space, she'll dash. So if you dash twice, you'll do a little flip. The flip kind of comes into play a little bit further into the game. We'll get there in not too long. Okay, so there's kind of a break in the area here, and we're in a new place. Middle mouse button or left shift to look around. Left shift I don't think is the default for looking around anymore. I think it's actually letter E. But yeah, whatever. Alright, so right off the bat, we're right in the beginning here. There's a something here that we want to get, but we can't get to it. Alright, so as you see, I'm kind of sitting on the rock right now. If you dash into a wall, you'll kind of attach to it, and you can kind of get these speed boosts almost, which are very helpful in a lot of scenarios. Okay, so now it's introducing us to the plants here that we've already figured out. Okay, we just learned a recipe, hand roll. So back to our cooking menu. Hand roll. Heal +1. So that's our basic healing thing. Recipes. Back to page 1. Hand roll is a plant leaf plus any meat. Very, very simple recipe. Easy to make. Ingredients for that will be very plentiful. Okay, we've got these little currents. They're actually pushing me. I can still swim against it. I can kind of slowly make my way through. It's not terribly easy, though.
When confronted with a dangerous situation, I was wise to use the full range of my physical abilities to avoid it. With a powerful thrust of my legs, my webbed feet would propel me forward, leaving my pursuers in my wake.
AKA dash. More currents. Okay, so we've got healing plants.
As I sang, I could feel the verse flowing through me. Certain songs stirred the verse deeply, causing changes in the surrounding waters. The first song I had discovered would wrap the verse around me, protecting me from environmental dangers.
Okay, so not only is singing just kind of fun, but it also can help give you certain abilities or protect you. So in this case, Now we have this little shield. And we've got a little enemy over here. You see it deflects those things. Now, it only lasts for a certain number of hits and a certain duration of time. Maybe it's just time. I can't remember if it's time and hits or one or both. But anyway, helpful nonetheless. Oh, see, it just went away. So... Another thing about the songs is that once we progress through this, we'll find that in the heat of the moment, a lot of these songs are going to become rather difficult to sit here and do different combinations for. Again, if you're playing with keyboard, there's actually the number keys 1 through 0. That's how many different abilities you've got. You can just push those buttons and immediately cue one of those. Hot soup. Okay, so right here, you see we were over here before. We couldn't get past this boulder. We just kind of found an alternate route to get there. So what key is the shield? 9, okay.
The power that lay within these crystals flowed to places beyond this world, and the memories of all who neared them were reflected in their depths. I chose to record my story within these crystals for the benefit of those who would journey beyond my life.
In other words, save point. So you right-click on it, and I'm going to go all the way up to the top. There's 8 pages here. Oops. I'm just going to overwrite this here. So yeah, one of the things that I've always enjoyed breaking the fourth wall here is certain games' explanation of what save points are. Hold that thought.
In all my memory, every day had been like every other. If she had not appeared before me in that moment, I might have stayed in those waters for the rest of my days, living as a simple creature. But I was compelled to follow.
So you can immediately see that this game isn't all sunshine and rainbows. There's definitely a very dark, seedy side to it. We don't quite know what this thing is here, but let's find out. Okay. There's a current we can't get through, and we're now this kind of dark, demonic-looking thing. Let's get a close-up here. So your hands are on fire. The map is darkened out. We can't see what we're doing. And our right-click, we no longer sing. Instead, we have this fire shooting ability. You can hold right-click, charge up your shot, and actually shoot 3 of those. And lock them onto enemies and shoot them with it. Right now, however, I'm going to forego trying to shoot enemies because we are in an area that is pretty much designed to make it so you cannot survive. You can easily see that this game can be very brutal and it can become quite a... Hold on.
Strange form faded before my eyes. Perhaps I'd only dreamed her, but I was no longer the same. That vision. I'd lived as a feral creature, not thinking beyond the simplest desires, until now. As if from a dream, I awoke to the reality of my existence, to the fact that I was alone. I knew that this world was called Aquaria, and that my name was Naja, but I could recall nothing else. Was I the only one of my kind left? Was I destined to live out the rest of my days in solitude? My heart ached for answers. In time, I would discover far more than I'd wished to learn.
Okay, so we had some sort of weird premonition from that spooky thing laying their hand on our head. And yeah, we got this crazy fire ability. Again, we're back to our normal self, so we don't have that. Oh, go away. Anyway, I was talking about save points. Yeah, again, something that's just I've always enjoyed is the game's explanation of what save points are. I think the best example that I remember is, I think it was Soul Reaver 2, Legacy of Kain series. Something about imprinting his soul onto this tablet or something like that. It was just such a huge, long-winded explanation. If you're familiar with the Legacy of Kain series, you know that that game is very dialogue-heavy, and you can imagine Raziel going into this huge, deep, convoluted story about save points, and you're like, okay, yeah, it's a save point, thanks. Alright, so you see we pick up ingredients fairly frequently, so we can make lots and lots of yummy sushis. Alright, so we have this kind of writing on the wall. This is Aquarian writing. At no point in the game does it actually show you the translation of it. I know this particular writing to be home, the word home. Should you ever be interested, let's say you pick this game up, if you look at the actual art assets in the folder, there's an Aquarian.png file, an Aquarian_alt.png file. The alt is kind of some ugly, atrocious yellow writing that's in English, which will translate the language here for you. It just looks hideous while doing so. But if you're ever just wanting to see what they say, it's interesting.
I was enveloped by warm light as familiarity overwhelmed me. I had come home.
Alright, we're home. Always a good idea to save when you can. Saving also replenishes your health, so in case you're low on health. Alright, so even in our own home, we have places that we can't get to.
There were many strange ingredients to be found in the waters of Aquaria. By cooking them together with the verse, I could create new foods. Some of my recipes proved to be very useful.
Okay, so again, introduction to cooking. One thing I want to point out is that right now we have 3 different cooking slots. So, for instance, I could put that in there, that in there, and that in there. We don't know what that makes. You can experiment and discover new recipes that you hadn't previously thought of. But if the ingredients you put in there do make a known recipe, it'll show you what you're making here in the display. So again, that's with 3 cooking slots. That's when you're using a kitchen. When you're out in the wilds and you head back to your cooking, you've only got 2. So there are obviously certain recipes that do require the full 3, and you can only make them at certain designated cooking stations. So sometimes you do have to come back home if you want to stock up on some of the more potent recipes. So this is my my quaint little home here, Naja's quaint little home. So you may have seen earlier, but there was a rock that I passed that had kind of a glowing thing under it. You can't get to that right now, because you have to figure out a way to move rocks. We don't have that yet. Here's once again another thing that we can't get to. We're in a super dark area we can't see, because we don't have the ability to see. There's a current here that's too strong for us to go in because we don't have the ability to go through currents yet. So Naja's home is kind of a prime example of what all the different, not all, but some of the different things that you need to do are, or some of the abilities you get. So here we are in her nice bedroom with these curtains that serve I don't know what purpose, but let's take a nap, shall we? So we kind of get these flashback memories as we're playing. Okay, so that's all of Naja's home that we're able to see as of now. Alright guys, I think I'm going to call the episode right here. It's been a good duration. So that's kind of the introduction to Aquaria. We're going to get much more into the full gameplay mechanics, special abilities, powers, more cooking here in the next episode. So hope you enjoyed. Again, this is a great game. This is the game that really introduced me to what indie games are and can be. Yeah, this is by far one of my favorites, and it's a joy to play. So hope you enjoy as much as I do here, and yeah, stay tuned until next time. Take it easy, guys. Bye.